Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share something which I recently discovered that has significantly improved my music production workflow. The approach is about starting a track with a clear vision rather than relying solely on spontaneous jamming. I'll explain why this method is more effective, how it can help you produce music faster, and how it can enhance the overall quality of your tracks. I'm beyond excited to announce that my brand new course, Citrus Production and Sound Design, is available on my website. Everything you should know and understand how to boost your production to the next level. Visit www.eclipmusic.com/courses and sign up for the course that will change your production and craft up your career. The traditional approach versus a more structured method. Many producers, myself included, often start a track by laying down a kick and bass line and then building the elements around them until something inspiring emerges. While this can work, it's often a time-consuming process that relies heavily on randomness and momentum. The problem is that waiting for inspiration to strike can lead to inconsistent results and prolonging producer times. A much more efficient approach is to plan your track before even turning on your DAW. By outlining the structure, the mood, and sound elements in advance, you can create a roadmap that keeps you focused and productive. This method eliminates the guesswork and allows you to execute your ideas with clarity. Why planning your track matters. So when you produce a track without a defined idea, you tend to choose elements that sounds good in isolation, but may not serve the overall direction of a track. For example, selecting the best sounding kick drum without considering the track emotion tone can steer the production in unwanted direction. A punchy, tight kick might work well for energetic tracks, but may not suitable for deeper hypnotic compositions. By planning ahead, you avoid this issue. Instead of making choices on impulse, you select sounds that align with your artistic vision. This results in more coherent, well-structured composition. How to plan your track effectively. First, define the mood and the emotion of a track. Ask yourself, what feeling should the track evoke? Should it be dark, hypnotic, uplifting and energetic, or deep and atmospheric? Write down a few reference tracks that captures the vibe you want to achieve. Second, outline the structure. Plan key moments in the track, intro, build-ups, breakdowns, or climax. Second, decide the transition and energetic shifts in advance. Third one is to choose right sound elements. So instead of picking the sounds randomly, select kicks, bass lines and percussions that match the planned mood. Think about how different elements interact with each other rather than treating them as isolated components. Fourth is to find the unique starting point. Rather than just always beginning with the kick and the bass, try starting with a vocal sample or a pad or rhythmic loop. Let these elements guide the rest of the track development. A real-world example: just recently, while working with a student, I demonstrate how to manipulate the vocals and percussive elements at the beginning of the session. Rather than just following my usual process, I started by selecting a vocal sample, which instantly set the emotion tone. From there, I built supporting elements, such as bass drums and percussions, that complemented the vocals rather than just focus on the track into the predetermined template. And the results, I completed the first half of the track in just 1 or 2 sessions, something that would have taken much longer had I been experimenting aimlessly. Building track with intent. When you approach production with a clear direction, every decision serves a purpose. Instead of filling the arrangement with random sounds, you carefully place elements to support the track's core idea. For example, percussions can be used strategically to control the energy flow. Transitional elements like risers and noises enhances the dynamic without overwhelming the mix. Kick and bass choice are guided by the track intent atmosphere, ensuring they contribute to the overall experience. Developing your producer mindset. If you are still in the learning phase, I highly recommend experimenting with different genres. Try recreating elements from techno, tech house, and even dubstep to understand how different styles utilize the sound. This practice will expand your production skills and help you to make more informed creative choices. Once you feel confident in your technical abilities, shift your focus toward planning and direction. Consider yourself a director rather than just a beat maker, someone who envisions the final product before execution. Final thoughts. By adopting this approach to the track creation, you will finish a track faster, you will improve consistency in your production, you're gonna develop a deeper understanding of arrangement and sound selection. Try planning your next track before opening your DAW. Write down a genre, mood, kick elements, and desired energy levels. I guarantee you will notice a huge difference in your workflow. So this track started with the vocal, as I was explaining someone how to deal with the vocals and how to find them, etc, etc. So the original sample sounds something like this. So the first thing I usually do when I have something like this, or the vocals, I don't like each part, so I'm selecting the parts which I really like and I'm deleting the ones that I don't like. So this is kind of a selection of the best parts, and I did that in the above channel just because all these glides and the tonality or the scale that this singer was using to sing, I had a feeling that it's kind of darkish. So there are these deep glides, and again, from the beginning, the emotion of a track was set. After choosing the parts of the vocal, I kind of heard that it's kind of deeper and darker, but A is, in my opinion, super uplifting keynote, and usually when I want to create something that's uplifting, I want to set the key root note in A, but since it's kind of darkish, I wanted to transpose it to D, and I did that with Manipulator. It's one of my favorite ones to just like pitch down, so I brought it all the way down to D note, which is -7, and format I set to -3 just to sound a little bit better. And of course, I have the OTT, Echo Boy, Black Hole, and Suit 2 to collect all the peaks or whatsoever. And as again, after all the processing, which I usually use, and again, in this channel, I had the RVox, which is for me one of the best compressors if you have the recording vocals, specifically if you have something like this. The vocals, when they been recorded, they are like a lot louder moments of it. So this is the best done if you use 2 or 3 compressors in a chain, while RVox, it's exactly doing the same thing, and it really compressed really nice, and you can see how does it look after all the processing. Of course, it's not perfect. I can use one more, but anyway, this is what I did. So after selecting this and putting like a lot of reverb and Echo Boy delay, Suit 2, Manipulator, and then it repeats from the beginning. So in general, I just selected the parts of the vocal which I like and kind of created my own melody with it just by chopping and manipulating certain parts. Then I use like one of these shots, I just put a reverb and I placed it on a reverse. So somehow I already set the emotion just by choosing the vocal, by explaining to someone. And again, the second part of that session, which we had, was making the congas, and I found the congas. I was explaining how to process them. This is going to be topic for another video. But anyway, I select the congas. I extended that loop with the big drums just to support them, because I believe that as tracks forwards, the energy should go up, 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 and up. And then, like, I got the idea for how kick and bass should sound and what kind of the rhythm's supposed to be in this track. And again, I did something differently because I started the track with the vocal, then I built this bass drone to support the vocal over here. So the next build up was anyway, so after that, I kind of knew what kind of a kick I want, so I didn't choose the best sounding kick, which is the most standard procedure, and usually we start a track with the best kick that we have. We maybe use the bassline sample or the bassline preset. I never used the bassline samples since I'm pretty limited what I can do with the bassline. While if I create my own preset, I can change it. I can make a glide or whatever. I can change it. I can open, close, cut off, etc., etc. So anyway, I knew exactly what I want to create, and I decided to go in a bit more uplifting way with dark energy. So just by choosing one sample, I again had way different ideas, but the choices were way less. Since I already have a dark track, I didn't have much of the choices, like making a melodies, etc., etc. So I knew that this atmosphere is going to be the main one, and I decided to go with the high energy in this track, specifically because I already had these drums, these congas that are building up like. And then the selection of all the single shot sounds was kind of conscious, as I knew exactly what I want to create. Since I already had the vocal that have a full attention there, I didn't want to spoil it up. So I just put it like SFXs and everything just to fill in the gaps when the vocal stops. And I did choose specifically for that emotion of a track. Then the drone again is following that tonality of the vocal, which is kind of again deep. It perfectly matches. I use the noises and risers to control the energy level, and then the kick and bass, when they start in this moment, they go together with some other Afro drums which kind of follow really nice the groove. So again, I did chop, bounce, and I just chose one small part, really nice, as I believe that the repetition is something that's really nice. But as I already said, since I chose a dynamic arrangement or the dynamic context of this track, I did have a different bass changes, like it stops in this part. There are different bassline layers coming up in a different directions. But anyway, I'm just gonna play from this position. Feels So this was the first session, and maybe second session, general just polishing up, and I had the half of the track already done with the mood, with the energy and everything. So let's go quickly through it. So the vocal have started the track, the drone was there to support it and to match the emotion. Single shots were builded and placed exactly in the place where they needed to be. The choice of the single shots were also referred to not be that much of kind of stealing the attention, as they were there to support the vocal. The congas are starting, so the energy rise to another level. I supported it with like a big drums like this. Noises, uplifters, risers, and everything. There's a small break. The kick and bass, really energetic, with kinda uplifting groove, but not in the happy mood. They are more in a dark mood. That means I was stopping. I used another layers just to chop that and support these gaps in between when the bass stops. When the bass line is stopping, there's a lot of fills, which is just creating it to be way more dynamic. And after 8 bars, yes, after 8 bars, the snare is starting straight away. So when it comes to the dynamic arrangement, we need to add really fast, because These kind of tracks are pretty groove oriented, and that way they serve more to the groove. So that means the groove is in the focus. When the kick and bass are starting, there's not going to be many other things. So the intro is starting, and then when the kick and bass are starting, there's a full groove part, and then there's a certain development with the lead melody, and then in this full power moment, the FM leads, which are just like. And again, it goes to the break, and the second part is still unfinished. I just duplicated the first part to see how it's gonna match and what else is that I'm able to do in this part. That's all for today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I'd like to hear how this method works with you. Thanks for watching, and see you